Hello again. Let's do this. Are we getting this? Beautiful people get away with too much, and I say that having benefited myself from time to time.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Mystery Recap. In today's video, we're gonna recap a movie named Spiderhead 2022. So stick with us till the end. At the start of the movie, a man is laughing so hard that he is about to pass out. It turns out that this man has been in prison for 4 sentences. Even when he was reminded of some terrible things happening in the world, he could only laugh at the questions, and the interview ended soon after. Soon, the scene changes, and we see the same man from the interview room walking back into a prison called Spiderhead. When a man wakes up from a deep sleep, we can see that his eyes are covered and that he's being taken somewhere. It looks like these people are scientists because they are watching the prisoner's every move. Soon after, the same guy walks into a kitchen where he meets a woman as if they have known each other for a long time. It turns out that both of them are criminals, but that their sentences are very different. Back in the 4th scene, he looks at the world in a very strange way, as if he were under the influence of something else. He looks at other things, like a factory, and says that he loves seeing it. He thinks back to a time when he lived a simple life and went to parties with his girlfriend while he was in his room. When he was driving so fast one day, he got into an accident, which we will learn about later. Back in the testing facility, the same guy is sitting down for an interview. All of a sudden, a woman comes in and sits down in front of him. They are being asked some questions. The guy gave the girl an attractiveness score of about 8, but the girl gave him less than 5. Not long after that, the woman and the man began to feel very strongly about each other. It looked like the substance they were given was helping them, and we could see that they were becoming one. This went on for a long time. The effects of the drug wear off all at once, and they are back to normal. The scientist wants to see if the love really lasts, even after the effects wear off. All they have to do is look closer at each other in the coming days to see if they still feel the same way about each other. Again, it was time for lunch, but the guy does not seem to be interested in the same woman. Then, we can see that the same man is sitting with an older woman. Again, they pick something called acknowledge, and the same process can be seen. The next day, we can see one of the workers giving him more drugs. He also tells him that no girl should touch his back, which is also good advice for him. Again, he sits with the lead scientist while an experiment is going on. The scientist asks him if he should give Darkenflux to one of the women he slept with while high. Later in the story, we will learn more about Darkenflux. In his answer, he didn't pick one over the other, which is what the scientist was interested in. It turns out that the thing is N40, which could change the world. People will use it to make them feel love. It turns out that this guy's name is Jeff. Before Jeff walks away, the scientist comes back and asks him what he really wants. When he tells him, we move to a different scene where we see what happened with his friend and how he died. If he could do anything, he would go back and fix it. We can see everyone eating, playing games, and having a good time later. The guards call Jess's name and give him a phone with a message from someone he knows, probably his parents. His dad says that this is the last voicemail he will ever leave. After he and his friend Lizzie celebrate an early Christmas, we cut to a different scene where Jeff is sitting with a big man and denying that he has done anything with him. They sit there for a while. When Jeff walks into the main office, he sees that Sarah is being asked the same question he was. This makes him very angry, and they start arguing. In the end, the scientist tells him how much better their life is than in prisons. In the end, Jeff told him that he was sorry and agreed to the plan. At night, we could see a scientist dancing around and looking shocked. It was clear that he has taken the full dose of the N40 drug himself. He later tells Lizzie about this Darkenflux, which he says is even worse than being on fire. He seems to have been interested in Lizzie. The name of the scientist is Steve, and he tells his assistant to give him twice as much of one of the substances. His assistant tells him to be careful with the high dose, but then Jeff shows up, which makes Steve a little nervous. We can see them sitting together and again asking Jeff if he wants them to give Darkenflux. He says he doesn't feel anything for her, so they let her go with a little bit of it. We can see that she's going crazy from the inside, as if she were going through some kind of emotional withdrawal. All of this was to be told by Jeff based on what Steve said. Things did not go Steve's way, so she hit him in the back with a wall, which gave him too much Darkenflux. This led to her ending her life, which surprised the two scientists who walked into the room. Meanwhile, Jeff quickly looked at his book and found out that Steve owned the whole company. He is trying out more than just a love drug. He was going to test several of them one by one to help Steve's pharmaceutical company to do well. Steve comes back because he thinks something is wrong. However, Jeff was able to put the key back in time. Steve needs to clean everything up and not tell anyone about it, or the government will shut down this facility. Jeff was upset about what happened, so Steve tried to tell him that everything they were doing was for the good of humanity. In the end, we can see them both laughing and talking about funny things that happened. They were using the laughing stuff, and in the end, Jeff looked at him suspiciously. Lizzie was later given Darkenflux, which made her afraid of a stapler. Steve was wondering a lot, and it looked like he was enjoying all of this. Jeff and Lizzie were getting to know each other better. It turns out that there was one more person in the car. It was a girl in the back. So, he pretty much killed two people while he was drunk. Lizzie could feel how sad he was and gave him a hug and a kiss at the end. He seemed to like her more and more as time went on. When Steve looked closely at Jeff, he found out that he likes Lizzie a lot and gave himself a big dose of love. It's evening, and Steve tells Jeff again that he's going to give Lizzie Darkenflux today. However, Jeff says no right away. This makes Jeff very angry, so Steve tells him to come back the next day and start over. When Steve's assistant comes into Jeff's room later, he locks the door and asks Jeff about the red substance that was given to everyone. He tells Steve everything he knew to be true about him. Steve only cared about one drug, the red one, called B6. Steve's assistant went against Steve because of this, as we will see later. The next morning, Steve is getting ready for Jeff to decide whether or not to give Lizzie Darkenflux. He gives Jeff his phone so that he can give her the drug, but Jeff says that he can't. This makes Steve very angry. It's finally out in the open. How Lizzie lied to Jeff about her past, which was not a bank robbery, but because of what she did, her baby died in her own car a long time ago. She had to work at Walmart for 3 hours and left her baby in the car, which is against the rules. Jeff let go of the substance when he heard this, but he let go of it in Steve's direction. His assistant switched out some of his chemicals for Darkenflux, which hurt him a lot. It turns out that B6 is a drug that makes people do what they are told. The name of the substance would have been OBDX, which means obedience. Steve has a knife in his hands, but Jeff makes him open the front door. Things heat up quickly, and the fight starts, but Steve lets all of Darkenflux's weapons loose on Lizzie before they fight. We can see that she's going to kill herself, but Jeff breaks Steve's bad system and saves Lizzie from the inevitable. He tells her that he loves her, and Steve tells everyone that they need to go after Jeff and Lizzie. Steve can't fix his awful system, and everyone else in prison starts to go after Jeff and Lizzie. Steve ran away and hid in a plane, while Jeff and Lizzie got away and locked all the prisoners inside. Steve was high on many things and felt happy, sad, and scared all at the same time. Finally, the love potion starts to work, and Steve can't take his eyes off the beautiful view of the sun. He hits a part of the mountain and dies as a result. Jeff and Lizzie were also trying to get away from the place with the stolen boat, and they laughed about it. So guys, that's pretty much it for today. If you liked this video, then give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more movie recaps. Also, comment your favorite movie name you would like to get an explanation on. Thank you for watching.